All right, what is up, you guys? Today we're going to be doing this. So why would I want to do something like that? Well, it looks cool, and I don't want to pay for the $300 something for a Nanoleaf starter kit, which is ridiculous considering I screwed this up royally, had to buy way more tools, and still only paid $100. So speaking of pricing, let's get into that really quick. We'll go over the tools that I bought and where I kind of screwed up and made me spend more money. Hot glue gun and hot glue sticks together, it was like $5 at Dollarama. Foam core, the foam core sheets that make up the structure of the shapes. It was $1.50 a sheet. I bought 2 sheets. You probably just get away with 1. The vinyl diffuser I used on the front was just a semi-clear vinyl shower curtain that I used, and I just glued it onto the front. Worked great as a diffuser, and I couldn't be happier with that. The LED strips, this is where I got really cheap, and I shouldn't have. Don't get cheap LED strips, because the cheap LED strips are often 8mm LED strips. If you want to do if you want to keep it modular like me, you want to use connectors. And if you want to use the connectors, they come in 10mm sizes, so your 8mm strip isn't going to work unless you are like me and you buy a whole soldering kit to solder wires to the LEDs and solder the wires to the connectors. So the LED strips I got were $2 for the entire roll, times 4 rolls because I bought too many. Don't cheap out on your LEDs. Because I cheaped out on my LEDs, I had to buy a whole soldering kit, and the helping hands holder was $8.74. The soldering iron was $23.99, and the wire was $19.99. Yeah, big expense for a cheapo project, but that said too, now I have those tools forever and I have a lot of wire left. So I mean, there's kind of a serendipity there. Again, because I cheaped out on the LEDs, the controller that came with it wasn't Wi-Fi and app enabled. So what I ended up doing is I went to Walmart and I got a smart plug that was the same brand as the LED, smart lights that I already have in my room. And I just connected that, and I connected the controller straight to that, and then now it's app enabled, so I can turn it on and off from my phone. Now the wire connectors, the 10mm wire connectors for my 8mm LED strips, they were $23.99. You can often find them on sale, and you don't have to get such a big kit. You can just get like the actual connectors, not the extension pieces. Yeah, I wasted a lot of time on that one. And I should have just soldered everything, but I was committed to my mistake, and I continued using the connectors, and it ended up looking pretty okay. Another couple of tools is an X-Acto knife, so something like this. Ooh, yeah, sharp. They'll run about $5 to $10 somewhere. Depends where you look. I got mine at Staples like years ago, so yeah. And then tape. Tape is the last thing you'll need. Tape, just to hold things in place while you glue them. I never took the tape off. I was thinking maybe I could just finish it by taping over the tape with like a white tape, but it really doesn't matter. It's just to hold the foam core in place while you glue it. So in total, the amount I spent was $112.16. That's with all the soldering equipment. Without the soldering equipment, including the wire connectors and the smart plug, the total was $59.44. And in total, without the soldering stuff, or equipment, and without the smart plug, my total is $44.46. So you could imagine that just going a little more expensive on your LEDs will net you a greater result later, both because you can get Wi-Fi enabled, 10mm, so that you can use the connectors and you don't have to worry about any soldering and anything like that. So $50-ish versus $300 for a much larger product. Granted, not as diverse. It's not touch enabled or anything like that, but $50 gets you pretty far in the LED game. All right, now we move on to the actual foam working and creating the shapes themselves that the LEDs go in. So the first thing I did is I cut out a whole bunch of shapes like this. My shapes measured 2 inches in width and 5.5 inches in length. And then what I did is I threw out all my math, but I did a little bit of geometry, and I found out what the closest points between one edge and the other edge would be. And once I found that out, I made a little bit of a template that I could then wrap the sides around. So what I would do is I would take the sides. What I would do is I would take the sides and I would tape them end to end, 6 of them in a row, and then I would put the shape down, or I would put the plate down, the template plate. I would put the template down, and then I would wrap the 6 around the plate and then glue them in place. It ended up working pretty good. I don't have any weird, super off angle corners, which is A+ from my perspective. Once I had the hexagons made, I put a little cross beam. I would just lay it down on top of a longer strip of foam core just to give it some strength so that it's not so flimsy. Then once you have your shapes made, you're going to want to put your LEDs in. You're going to want to pick one first to be your control that all the other LEDs are going to kind of daisy chain off of. I took the controller and I just mounted it with a little bit of the same tape I used to hang it on the wall. Just a little wall hanging foam tape. Costs like $1. There's lots of ways to hang things on walls. So I just mounted that in there and made it so that the power portion of it was flush with the bottom of the hexagon. And then you're going to want to start connecting all your LEDs to each other. What I did is I measured out how far the distance all the way around it was and gave a little bit of an approximate as to how many segments of LED, because they are segmented. Focus. Whatever. They are segmented, so I just kind of took the closest guesstimate of what would go around the whole thing. And then from there, you're going to just daisy chain your connectors off of it onto the next one, and so on and so on. So once you've got your hexagon with your LEDs in it, all connected and all working, make sure you set it up on the ground. Make sure it's working along the way. You don't want to end up screwing anything up and then find out later once you finish the project that it doesn't work. One thing I noticed with my soldering is that when I would shrink wrap the LED strip and the solder joints, it would bend the LED strip and short out the joints. So that was no bueno. I just ended up using hot glue instead. So we've got our LEDs in our shapes, and it's time to put the diffuser on. So the vinyl shower curtain that I used, when you pull it out of the package, it comes like all wrinkled and creased and gross. So what I did is I used books to stretch it, and then I pumped hot air underneath the stretched surface of the vinyl with just a blow dryer, like a hair dryer. Which ended up working great because it would stretch it, and it would stretch it as it heated, and then I would stretch it on the surface and hold it in place with the books until all the creases were gone. And then I would stick my shapes down on top and just glue around the perimeter, and then just cut the shape out, and it's stuck tight, which is good. It worked perfectly. I could honestly not have asked that to have worked better. It was probably the only thing in this project that worked the way I wanted it to, so thank God for that. So once you've got all your hexagons, all of your shapes, you don't have to necessarily do hexagons. You're just gonna have to do the math on what you want those shapes to be. Once you've got all your shapes made with LEDs in them and diffused and connected, all set up on the floor, make sure it all works first. You're gonna want to hang it on the wall. Like I said, I just use this cheap little foam tape, wall hanging foam tape to put all mine up on the wall. You don't have to do that. There's lots of ways to hang things. do whatever works for you, or don't do whatever works for you. It doesn't matter to me. And then you should be in good shape. It should work. Like I said, mine isn't Wi-Fi enabled. You can get LED strips with controllers that are Wi-Fi enabled, so that they natively you can control them from your phone. I don't have that luxury because I went really cheap. That said, too, I only spent $50, relatively speaking, on this project. I did have to buy soldering kit and soldering equipment, all that, but I have that forever. And yeah, no one's gonna take that skill away from me now. So thank you guys very much for watching. It's the holiday season here, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas, everything that you are doing this holiday season. Hopefully you have a good time. And if you make one of these, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. Show me your creation. I want to see what you've made with my struggles. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.